How you doing? How you doing? How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Patty, and I wanted to touch on some things that came in the last big update, specifically the gear emblems. Talk a little bit about those, and kind of go ahead and just take this opportunity to do an entirely new, like, updated gear guide and everything. So we're gonna kind of cover all of the basics real fast, and then dig into some of the stuff that is newer, some stuff you might not know about. And for people that aren't up at, like, 80 yet and aren't getting these emblems, let you guys know what your life's going to be like once you get up here. Alright, so first things first, for any new players or anything like that, the best way to get gear is to grind whatever dungeon is going to drop comparable gear to your level. So I'm level 82 right now, right? So if I go in and try and do Doom or Doom Hard, I'm just going to get level 70 gear out of that. That's going to be useless. It doesn't automatically scale up to where you are. So, depending on where you are in the leveling scheme, make sure that you hit these dungeons when they're relevant to get a little bit of gear out of them. Don't really worry about your gear too much until you get into the, 70s, 80s, and everything, because you just blow through everything else so quickly early on in the game, just from story and other stuff like that you don't really need to worry about it too much. So that's going to be, one of the most reliable ways to get gear. You can also go into the mall and purchase gear, but the only time I ever recommend doing this is, maybe if you just hit a new like 10 bracket. So if you were 79 and then you just hit 80, maybe buy one piece, a new weapon and everything, so you have your level 80 weapon now. But don't buy a whole bunch of gear. It's going to take you a while to get through that 80 bracket. You're going to get all of that gear. So honestly, if you can hold off on it, I don't recommend buying gear almost ever. Unless you're... no, we're not going to get into chasing Drac enchantments. Just to give you guys a rough idea, the amount, I've had a couple of people message me, and one person left a comment on one of my video. It costs about $200 to try and trace a Drac down. And most Dracs that you get aren't worth anywhere near $200. So it's not a great investment to do that, in my opinion. That's all I'm going to say. So once you get gear, there's a couple of important things that you're going to be able to do with it. If we go into here, we can see that Patty's been saving some gear for us to talk about in the video. We're going to go through transferring some stats and everything. I'm going to go over some things about how you can kind of check and see, which ones are going to be the most beneficial for you to move over and how to kind of scope that out. So if you're not an assassin, you're like, oh, well, this isn't going to help me none. There should be a few little things in there. So transferring is going to be probably the most important thing for early people, in terms of all the things you can do with gear. This is going to be the easiest one for you to do and start getting in the door. Depending on what your class is, and if you don't know how to see which are your most important stats, if you go to your character profile, it'll tell you over here who are your best buds. If you also click on this little exclamation point down here, it'll tell you what your best buds are out of all of the primary stats and everything. So these are good things to know and keep in mind when you're doing any gear transfers. Whatever class you are, you want to come in here, take a look, if you don't already know what your stat prioritization is. But this will give you a pretty solid idea and everything. So we got some gear. Another thing that you unlock relatively early in the game, but it is such a money sink and resource sink that don't worry about it, boo. Find out which one of these is going to be your absolute best. So for me, it ended up being this one because it gave me multi-strike. And this is the one that you can see I've leveled the highest. Once you get all of these up to Wings T1, you get an activated effect. But again, I'm 82 and I spend a little bit of time on the game. There's a bunch of people way ahead of me, so don't take me as an expert. But this is a very expensive system to get all up to Wings T1, so it's going to take a while before you get really impactful returns on this. So don't, come in here, unlock this, see that you get this bonus for Wings 1 and then dump a bunch of money trying to get all of your things from Claw all the way up to Wings. Which, by the way, they start through Claw and then work their way up to Wings. So there's a fair number to go through there. Betcha that's my brother calling me. It is. Silence! Silence that phone. Alright. So this is, useful early on. Just go for the ones that you're going to get the most benefit out of. Don't worry about that too much. One of the things that they added with the most recent one is also refining, but we haven't got into that, so we're not gonna touch on that one yet. Actually, let me pop back into there real fast. So there is a vendor over here that you go and talk to, and this is how from your emblems you'll be able to eventually purchase some of these things. Now I'm going for the blood ones first, and then I'm gonna grab some of these. You can look at them, see what stats you're getting. You're getting 1 talent point from them. When you get a full set, you get additional talent points. The blood ones up here are a little bit more expensive, but they're only a 2-piece set, so you're going to get a total of 6 talent points out of this relatively quickly. For the cost that it would take to get 3 of these, you can get these 2 done, and you're going to get those 6. If you do these 3, you're going to get those 3, and then you're still going to need that 4th one, to get the 4, and then the additional 6. So this one is a little bit more expensive. So I'm going to go for this set first. And you get your PvE emblems from activity chests after you get over 80, from running certain things. So this is, it'll take a little while to get up to this, but you should be able to, get these in about 1 a week or so. Maybe a little bit more if you're really on your business, but expect that to basically take about a week or so for each of those. So we'll touch on all that stuff when we actually get up there. I just wanted to point out where you turn those in at and where you get those. So let's go back over to the other dude that we were just at. Man, the turning radiuses on these is just amazing. Amazing. We're gonna get, come on, off the bench. There we go. We should have just ran. Alright, so not you, our boy over here. So in the newest update, they also added gear emblems over here. This is essentially where you would turn in the 10 of those to get the next upgrade of them. And then, it'll take 10 of these to change it into one of the legendary ones. If you actually click on them, you can see what level they are. So these ones are going to be for the next bracket up. These ones are going to be for the next bracket after that. These are, going to be a little bit harder to get. But Petty going to tell you a little secret. If you go in here, you can start buying some of these. I don't highly recommend it. I grabbed one of them because we're actually going to do some enhancements here in a minute. But these are for sale. I wish that they would add some more of the gear emblems to be able to buy some of the blue or purple ones from there. But we can't be too picky. So let's go ahead and actually look at, re-gearing, transferring, and everything, and then after that we'll do the gem enhancements. Sorry, the emblem enhancements. So right off the bat, your boy off of a bronze 5 run just now got some doll boots. So yeah, we putting them on. So let's go ahead and see which of these are going to be. See, this is a level 70 and this is moving to a level 80 stat, so you can see how the color on them changed. A lot of these were purple when it was on the level 70 gear. What's good on level 70 gear is going to be blue and green on 80 gear. So unfortunately, you lose a little bit right there. Rough crowd though. Let's go ahead and move that over. Crit resist, we don't need any water attack. We're getting almost nothing from that. So if we went to say we were thinking about switching that out. We can see that that's a plus 16 rating. And Earth Attack is good for us. When we go to switch this out, yeah, that's a bit of a difference. Yeah, we'll go ahead and switch that out for that. AP we really don't care about too much. So I don't think any of these are going to find a home here. Sorry, guys. And them boots, down. Alright. Wind attack isn't going to do us any favors, and neither is fire defense, because we are an assassin. So everyone wave goodbye. Bye, salon pants. Bye. You gone. We could use a little earth attack. Do we have somewhere we can... Can we get that over a little bit of HP? Nope. Doesn't want us to do that. Doesn't want us to do that. And the game doesn't outright tell you anywhere which stats are better stats, but going in here and kind of just test transferring and seeing what the difference in rating is going to be will give you a pretty fair idea of how it's weighting things in terms of your character strength going up. Obviously, that's not a good enough piece to overwrite anything we have. Shame. See what we got over here. No, we've already got a ton of earth defense. That is a gross amount. Yeah, and there's no way earth attack's better than MS. Yeah, I knew that was going to be the case. And Dex, definitely not. So, you know, it's definitely always worth checking your gear to see if you can get anything off of it. Crit resistance, by the way, very beneficial stat. But I don't know if that's enough of it to outweigh anything that we have here. Oh, that's a 1-for-1 trade. Yeah, we already looked at that one. Rough. So this is how you dismantle gear. This is a dismantle guide. Alright. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything on this one. We don't really care about physical attack. Fire attack would be amazing for Blade Master. Doesn't do me any favors here. I still believe that fire defense contributes towards my defense against Blade Masters. We like all the stats we have over here. I'm also not 100% on the fire defense thing, but we do get stats for when we equip an elemental defense that's not for the one that we usually use. Whereas if I had, you know, like fire attack here and tried to move it over, it would give no rating change, or a very small amount, to the point to where the game basically tells you like this is worthless. So there is some benefit to the defenses. How much and what the numbers are on behind it, I can't really tell you, boo. I wish I could. You know I love you. But that's sad. All right, so we'll at least get some Lost Whisper pieces out of that. This, however, might be, alright, so that's a 41 increase there. Ooh, a 64 increase there. Yeah, sorry, MS, but I think you about to go the way of the dodo, dog. Alright, everybody, wave goodbye to MS, even though it's supposed to be our most important stat. Sorry, bud. And you go. You go. And as you do this more and more with your class, you'll kind of get familiar with which are going to be the best. Ooh, look at that increase. I'll take that. Magic attack is good, but I have a feeling that this didn't roll high enough for it to replace anything on here. Because that is a really low blue roll. That is about as low as blue roll could be. Yeah, I don't think he's going to find a home here. Nope. Sorry, doll boots. You needs to go. Alright. Yeah, actually, I don't think this is, Let's see where the water defense is the biggest increase. It's probably going to be over the crit res. That's 24, so I think that was... Yeah, I'd rather lose out on crit res than dexterity. So call me selfish, call me short-sighted if you want. I want to be able to kill people. Alright, so rip on thems. We don't need water attack at all. If you have the storage space, you could potentially save something like this for if you're going to switch over classes, because I'm pretty sure you would still get that benefit, but I'm not doing that on my main, so we ain't worrying about it. Have some doubts that this is going to go anywhere, but let's see. Normally I wouldn't prioritize moving AP over. All of these are pretty solid stats for what I'm looking for, but because it's purple and we get a bonus to gear when we get all the stats purple, I'm gonna try and find a home for it. It's about the only time I'd recommend doing this, because AP is definitely not a high rated stat for me. Alright, so we're gonna replace the inspiration with that. I'm kind of okay with it. Nothing else on that little bad boy there, so we can go ahead and dismantle him as well. And yeah, we don't need wing attack. Alright, so I've went ahead and I think there's 2 pieces of gear I've put an emblem in already. Now if we look at the wording of the emblems, got 2 right here. It can be placed on any part of the gear to increase a random stat of that part by 150. Now the 2 that I used gave me a substantial rating increase, which if you look at the wording of how the emblem is phrased, it sounds like it's going to pick one random stat from the stats on that piece of gear and increase that one stat by 150. And I don't believe that's how it's actually working. I believe that this is just a kind of translation issue, and it's basically saying that the random stats on the piece of gear will be increased by 150. Because if we go and look over here, we can see that it's adding in a pretty substantial amount from this, and we've got a lot of rating when we put these on. So I'm inclined to believe that it is actually increasing all of these stats, and we're actually gonna test that a little bit here. So I know you guys won't be able to see, but I'm going to take a screen grab real quick of all of our stats, and then we're gonna compare that against this bad boy here in a second. So I've been saving up the last 2 days. The places that you can get these emblems real quick before we go into this, you get 1 out of your very first activity chest, and then your 3rd activity chest is going to drop 1. So you're guaranteed those 2 a day as long as you're doing your activities. And in my opinion, you know, you shouldn't go super overboard with your first run. Like, you should essentially get them equipped on all of your, you know, pieces, and then I would start saving them so you can start upgrading them. By the time, with the amount of time that it takes, by the time that you get a decent number of, you know, either the purple ones or the orange ones, you know, we're going to be hitting 90. I would then save those for 90, but throw blues on all of your stuff, you know, right now and everything. We'll see how I think there's an 85 dungeon coming out. We'll see if that really, you know, changes too much in terms of gear. But for the most part, everything that I'm wearing now is what I'm going to be wearing to 90. I'm just going to be switching out the stats on them as I get better drops for transfers and everything. So I wouldn't, you know, go super overboard and go and spend the diamonds to put, you know, where are you at? Put these pretty purple ones. Oh, right here. You know, these are, you know, basically 500 diamonds per one. You know, 190% boost from 150 sure is nice, but I wouldn't say it's worth all of those resources, especially when, you know, we're getting to the point to where some of us are getting pretty close to getting a full 10 core if we don't already have that. And also, you know, pets and everything. Like, there's a lot of things you can be investing on right now. I don't recommend you buy a full mantra set for all of your gear at 80. So just my 2 cents of warning there. But let's obviously, if you do happen to have one or two of these and you're not sure which piece of gear you want to put it on, go through and look at all your highest rating gears. That's obviously going to be the orange gear that we have here in these 3 slots. We want to look at what substats we've got on them and which ones we're going to get the most benefit out of throwing on the orange boy. And it looks like it's going to be this one. This one has the highest, most core stats on it. That has some really solid stuff on it. That's got some decent stuff on it as well. But just the number of, purple stats that we have on this one. She getting the gold. No, we don't want to go in there. Alright, so we'll go ahead and socket this real quick. Wow! Wow, that was almost 1,500 rating. Wow! Okay, so I think we can guess that all of those stats just went up. Oh, wow. That is a lot. Okay, so let's just verify real fast. Alright, so yep, that's a yep. Let me see if I can actually, let's make this full screen. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. Oop, don't do that. Alright. Where is, I apologize. Alright, so that should be, alright, whoops, sorry about that. You've gone blind. So if we look at these, we've seen a good little jump in a few places. So some of the secondary stats aren't on this; they're actually on the next page. But still, we can see that we've gone up 1,000 some in AP. We've gone up little over 1,300, I want to say, on multi-strike. Yeah, crit res is also up a solid amount. So yeah, I think we can safely trust that it's applying that to all of the things. Alright, so real quick, let me go back. Woo, sorry about that. Don't mean to give you tunnel vision. So let's go ahead and just equip the rest of these real fast, just so we can see what crazy amounts of stats that we get from this being all the way geared out. So that was our only really high one, and wow, that is just so much. Let's go ahead and throw emblems on the rest of these, starting off with our best ones first, because I believe I have enough for every. Oh, that's 1,000 rating increase. Jeez. This is a couple of times I've seen Dragon Raja team responding to people, basically telling them like, oh yeah, no, there's things that we put in that make life a lot better for free-to-play players and everything. This definitely looks like one of those systems in terms of things that definitely help us catch up and feel powerful. Wow, that is just 1,000 apiece. Ooh. So yeah, so like I said, make sure to put a blue on all of your stuff. Oh my god. Okay, so we went from 1,300 MS to 17.5. Magic Attack we only got 2,000 out of. I'm surprised that didn't jump up a little bit more. About 1,300 physical defense. It's really not too bad. Not too much CDR, but really we don't care about that at all. Got about 2,500 more AP, and about 4,000 more smite. Getting that crit, baby. Oh lord. Oh, and about 2,300 crit res. So I mean that's, oh, and yeah, 4K MS. Jeez. Okay, I think that pretty much covers how to get gross in gear. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I super apologize for how long this ended up being, but I wanted to have, a little bit of time in there where you can see me going through those processes and not just talking about them. So hope that was helpful to a few of you. If not, I apologize. I love your face. Thank you for stopping by. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't, boo. Love you. But it's been your boy Patty, and we out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Deuces.